Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 1:30 workshop of the Board of County Commissioners. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First up on our agenda is our Extension Advisory Committee Letter of Intent, Ms. Lockard. We did see this in our packet, so go ahead.
Okay, so right now we have two openings on our advisory committee, and Abdel Barada expressed interest. He's been on our advisory committee for the past 3 years and would like to serve a second term. So when we updated our bylaws, now folks can serve 2 3-year terms, and then they take a year break, and then they can come back. That's kind of our deal. So David Temple, who is a long-time dedicated advisory committee member. I think he was there for 20 plus years. And so he was like, you guys are in a good spot. I can let this go and let someone else, come to these meetings. So that is kind of the spot that we have open. And I'd like to, so we have Abdel who has a letter of intent, and then we have one more spot, but I'd like to just leave that open for now. We didn't have anyone else during when we advertised this to apply, and give folks a chance to attend a meeting, get to know what it's about before they sign up. And we have a good number of folks already there. So that is Abdel's letter, and I know as he stated, he likes staying up to date. Served at the research center here locally, and likes to stay connected and has good thoughts and suggestions for us that we always appreciate.
Okay. Questions? I think we all know Abdel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
have any.
Okay.
Should be pretty simple.
I guess.
Okay, yeah, and if anyone in YouTube land or you all hear from someone who would really like to be involved with the extension office, just the requirement is that they live in Montezuma County, they have an interest in, things like FCS, Ag, 4-H, and it's advisory, so they give us suggestions and are a way to just have eyes and ears out in the community to help us do a little better job.
So this will just leave you one vacant position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which, and I should have calculated, but so I think we have 6 people on our committee right now. So, which is, because we changed it from that max of 12, which is a large number. We don't need that many. So now we have a max of 7, but it doesn't say that we have to have those all filled all the time. So
Who else left?
David Temple?
well, David Temple.
Okay.
So yeah. So it was really David Temple, and then Abdel is just his term is.
He just
up.
wants to re-up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
So not that much turnover. Now I think we finally got it squared away. We only have 2 spots that would come up a year. So.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, Emily. Appreciate it. Robert Dobry, we're going to talk about a policy resolution for the general fund and reserves.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This resolution is to establish a general fund reserve policy or guidance for a goal of 1 year of general fund expenses to be kept as the Montezuma County general fund balance, and then for the administration and budget committee to kind of use that guidance in budget preparation going forward for 26 and then subsequent years. So that for next year's budget would be a goal of $16,319,000, and that would kind of float year to year depending on what the budgeted expenses are. And then also associated with this resolution on the agenda tomorrow, there are 2 transfers: one for $1 million to the contingency fund, and then also one for $6 million to the capital fund. And if you had any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
You have anything? I don't.
I mean, kind of what's been hashed over for a long time now. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Sounds good. Simple and easy. Okay. Planning. Let's go to something more complex. Come on down. Oh, you don't have to take off, Emily. Okay, so this is a residential PUD sketch plan and a discussion as it's related to the woods.
Wrong one, Travis. There you
With
go.
that, go ahead, Don.
So this is a preliminary sketch plan for a PUD. All the lots on the west-hand side border the golf course property. On the northwest, actually on all of it, that would all be connected to a sanitary sewer system. All the lots on the east would have their own septic system. Currently, the plan is for Montezuma Water to provide potable water for it. The access is off of Highway 145, just south of the county shop. And that is a city street that would be paved over to and connect to the south end of Golf Course Drive or whatever it's called, as well as continue into this new development. And I'll let Cody elaborate and answer questions. This has been in the process for a while, mainly because of accesses and ingress egress.
Okay. Can I get you to turn that on, Cody, and then get it as close to you as you can, because we can hear you, but the people that are watching on TV sometimes cannot. So if you get
Definitely.
it, perfect.
Good afternoon. So Don hit all the points very well on that. A lot of the questions that I have when proposing this is kind of a mixed use that I think is kind of new to the area. A lot of the lots are going to be quarter acre to half acre lots on the bordering the golf course lane, and those would be staying in the county. So a lot of that, all those lots on that side would tie into the Cortez sanitation, which the Cortez sanitation would need a upgraded line that we'd be bringing in from the end of golf course lane down to Empire. The bigger lots up there, as Don said, those would be on septic systems. And then where you guys see the open space, that's a little bit correct. That'd stay all pasture and farm ground in that area as an open space. We'd have walking trails and stuff throughout the area in there. And the portion that would be coming off of 145 to connect this subdivision would be asphalt paved. And then in this subdivision, even though we're going county, we would asphalt pave those as well. I kind of wanted to open it up to see what your guys' thoughts on that. If you have any questions for me, layout wise or any other things that you guys see.
And he has been in discussion with the City of Cortez Planning. I talked to City of Cortez Planning, probably 4 or 5 months ago. A lot of it just comes down to the level of development. Through the city, you're into curb, gutter, and sidewalk, which is a definite added cost. We did tentatively discuss that northwest corner could possibly be on city water, just so that they're not cut out of the whole thing. And that could, if CDOT and the city wanted to connect that to golf course lane and go out by the Gopher, but that intersection's already an issue. So Cody really wanted to try and stay away from that, adding any more traffic there. I don't know what kind of argument Montezuma Water and the city are gonna have over water, but city planning's fully aware of this, and they have worked with Cody on that access road. That also gives them a chance for some development in there, commercial-wise, if somebody buys it and wants to develop it.
So I have a question, Cody, and then I have a statement and a comment from me specifically and
Okay.
personally to the public, because obviously I am still in partnership with AMC Development, and I have a vested interest in the property if that road is continuing out to 145.
Correct.
So, just so that everybody here knows, in full transparency, I have had no conversations with you
No,
and
sir.
or anybody else in the community about this access. So in full disclosure and transparency for our attorney,
I've
still,
been, no, go
still own 50% of AMC of phase 4 and 5. So that's the statement. The question is, if I understood you properly, that would then go through the end of phase 2 where our sewer mains are stopped, which goes into a lift station there. So my question is, if you've already talked to the sanitation district, is that, because you're looking at 46, 57, are all of those going to be picked up there? Because I guess that would require another lift station, because the design that we had on our lift station would only take
100
phase
units.
2 and 1.
Correct.
Okay.
So what I was going to do on that, future planning on that. So that lift station right there will take roughly, if those lots got built out today, there was between 30 and 50. So it'd give me a room of about 37 that we could tie in. So what I was going to do is on the corner of this property right here, I've talked to the sheriff's posse a little bit, but getting a easement going down where the two corners of these properties meet before we go up where your guys' lift station is. And I would take that all the way down to Empire. So essentially I'd put that all on a gravity feed system. And then I'd keep that opened up to where the property is you're speaking of right there for future development. And then there's another property a little bit south of that, another 50 acres that could potentially be good for multifamily or stuff like that that's zoned in the city. I'd have that to where we'd install a big enough line, probably a 12-inch gravity feed system, to where all that could feed into that in the future. So it would probably eventually eliminate that lift station.
Okay. So then my next question, I think the concept is somewhat what Cap Allen did off of 29 Road by looking at this. Don, am I correct? So the open space is going to be out in the field, the wet area,
Yep.
and the houses would be basically right up against the fence of where the property where we put the road in.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So are you planning on annexing this or not?
I would keep it in the county.
Okay, so then that's part of the curb and gutter and asphalt issues, because in the county, we don't require that.
Correct.
Okay, I'll stop there for a minute and turn it over to you two, John.
And just in the northeast corner, that secondary escape route there, that is dedicated through that Arrow Point subdivision for access and utilities to that, whatever that is, 160 acre parcel. Everything on the west is 320 acre parcel.
So basically, the PUD is still calculating 3 acres, you're just using the open space concept.
It's more like a cluster development.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
why it's a PUD, yeah.
Yep, and on the curb and gutter aspect, it's not so much of just the curb and gutter, the cost, just trying to keep the aesthetic of it. The pretty area out there, so how the roads and stuff are all designed is all trying to keep the natural look and aesthetics of that. So that's a big push on, the annexation, but not having the curb and gutter.
I don't have anything at this time.
Questions, gentlemen?
right now.
He has had the fire protection district take a look at the plan, the concept, the terrain, access, ingress, egress, and they didn't have any issues with it.
So the secondary fire access, I guess, is that what it's it's really hard to read this because it's so small.
If you go to
be
detail
through
2,
that
Travis,
north-
you can pick
That
that
north,
up.
yeah, fire access road, okay. So that's a secondary means of egress.
Yeah.
And that
Right.
would just be, just have a gate there
Yep.
for now.
Do a fire lock on it with a gate. And then in that phase 4 area B, where that road loops around towards the golf course, I'd have a fire access in right there as well. That way, if they come in off Fairway Drive, they have access right in there as well.
Is Montezuma Water able to provide sufficient fire flows for this?
So I've spoke with them, with Steve, a few times. They have an 8-inch line that goes through there right now. They can't take water to the whole facility or all the units if they're all in right now, but by the end of this year, upon their completion, they'd be able to handle that. And I spoke with the fire district about that as well, so to get what they would require.
So the 8-inch line could conceivably feed a 6-inch line for fire hydrants.
So, trust me, I know this property very well, as you're probably aware of that.
Yep.
Where's your 8-inch line coming from Montezuma Water?
So it'll be just south of the Arrow Point subdivision right there.
Okay,
So where the area F is, it kind of diagonally cuts down through that, below that lot 6. It comes in between lot 6 and lot 5, and then zigzags down through that. And where you see in phase 1, area B, 19, 18, 22, 17, it's kind of why there's a weird jog in that right there. I followed the water line through there. And then it goes down into the open space and then shoots out to 160.
yeah, okay. Questions for the concept?
That's it right now.
I guess I would ask you, because I think we've all gotten calls. I
Yeah.
didn't know that this was happening or not, but I have gotten calls from people out in the public asking, whether I knew anything about it. And I said, don't know anything about it because it's not
Yep.
gotten in front of us.
Yep.
Now I do.
We've been discussing it for, I don't know, 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's probably why the public knows about it.
Yeah, I've purposely not involved you. I've spec with John Anderson, talking about some of the right-of-way and stuff through those areas from 145 to the property, so.
Right, okay. I would just make sure that your outreach is very, very good, because this will bring,
You're gonna fill our room.
this room won't be big
Again?
enough.
Yep.
I'm just trying to give you some.
Absolutely. I've put a lot of thought in, a lot of my big push on the smaller lots. If you drive around the county, there's a lot of 3-acre lots to the 3-acre minimum. A lot of those that don't have shrubbery, vegetation, or trees, a lot of those are mismanaged. So that was a lot of my push. One is getting the smaller lots to where people can maintain them. The larger lots up there, all those are vegetated lots with trees, juniper, pinyon, sagebrush, stuff like that. So I've purposely put it all that way for minimal maintenance, and to where if someone's not maintaining the whole property, it still looks good, and it's not weeds and stuff that some of the problems we've had, but keeping a lot of that in mind as well.
So you're gonna put covenants on this?
Yes.
And you're gonna be an HOA there too?
Yep. Yeah, so I've talked to the road department, and these would be private roads if we keep it in the county. So we'd have to have a HOA with that to maintain those.
Anything else, Commissioner?
Not right now.
I would just offer mostly to Don would be, and you might have the specifics of this better than I do, Don, but I understand we're in the process of entering into some kind of agreement with the city as far as communication for development that's near the city. So I would just encourage the planning department to communicate with the city, even if we don't have a, you know, a formal agreement. I think that's certainly a goal of the counties, just to, you know, keep them informed of what we're doing in as far as planning development around the city limits.
Sure. And we have done that.
Yeah, I've met with them quite a few times on that. A lot of the stuff, going back to the curb and gutter and aesthetics of it, we'd be going through the city property to get here, have to put in some turning lanes and stuff to do that. So that's a lot of the push. It opens up, you know, the sewer line that they kind of need with the sanitation to be updated. It kind of hits all those avenues, but also opens the city where we'd be putting that whole infrastructure and going through there for future city development, you know, whether it's commercial or multifamily, stuff like that as well. So.
Okay.
I guess
this is
the only other
just a
question I
concept right
have, I mean, he's got it phased out, as you can see on the big drawing. With phase 1A and phase 1B would be happening together. Obviously for
South
the
end.
options of sizes of lots. If you didn't like the combination of the two, I mean, literally you could do a PUD on the west and do a subdivision on the right, but it doesn't really make sense because the infrastructure or the utilities are going to be all tied together as far as water and power.
Can you scroll down, Travis, and look at that lower section, which is phase?
Go to detail 1. That's the lower section.
Yeah, so phase 1 would kind of be just the southwest
Southwest corner.
south end, right? Southwest corner,
Right.
which is the first 57 lots,
Correct.
correct? And then phase 2, obviously, just to the north, the 46 lots, and then continuing on.
Yep.
Um,
And then where he's speaking of, there's that phase 1 area A, and then there's also that borders Taunton, a phase 1 area B. I was proposing to start both of those at the same time, just so we have the different lot sizes available.
The water source comes and covers both areas.
correct, because the water's coming through Arrow Point
Correct.
and down and across.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. I don't have any questions.
right now.
Any questions at all? Comments? You're looking like you have a comment.
Or several.
I've got several of them, but
Okay,
it's probably not appropriate at this time.
all right. Well, then I'll leave it at that. Okay,
Thank you, guys.
again, just in full disclosure and transparency to everybody, I have had no contact or communication with anybody.
I purposely left it that way as well.
Okay.
So that's
Just-
probably why you were getting the calls. Didn't know anything.
Yeah, yeah, and I
He's
did.
not the only one.
Oh, I'm sure. City's been getting them as well.
Yeah, okay. All right. Anything else?
Nope, that covers it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day, guys. All right, I guess Travis, you'll take this one. This is discussion related to the finalizing of the land exchange with the Dunn Living Trust for Highway 184 and Road 23. But,
Is this yours, Don?
This is Leslie and I.
Leslie?
or Leslie, whoever wants to take this one, come on down.
I can start and feel free to jump in, especially if I get some of this wrong. So Commissioners, basically, Leslie brought this to my attention. In 2012, the board passed a resolution to do a land exchange on this property up by Narragansett Reservoir, and it was about realigning this county road here. Road 23, where basically the road used to run sort of along the right side of this property, and it was realigned to hit, I think it's Highway 184, right across from where this other road goes, which is not unlike, another land exchange we did to better facilitate traffic and safety at that intersection. So in this case, the board passed a resolution to accomplish this, and the intent was that this red section here that used to be the road would be transferred to the landowner here at this location. And he traded basically this pink section that became the county road. And that's what it said in the resolution. What happened in practice is that the county transferred this little green triangle where that pink and red section come together. And this other section that was formerly the county road was never transferred like it was intended to. And so, the landowner brought this back to the county's attention, said, hey, we need to fix this. This isn't right. And so we wanted to just discuss this with the board. This will probably require another resolution, in my opinion, because there's nothing in the previous resolution about this tiny green triangle. My recommendation to the board would be that we just include that in the land that was given to the landowner. At this point, it's a very small section.
0.007 acres.
0.007 acres. So it's a tiny parcel, but we're just trying to get this cleared up.
So we transferred that, and we
Well-
forgot to transfer the red part?
So
The road?
here, when you draw out this man's legal description now, per the resolution and per the survey and map that we have up here, this is how it draws out, because that little triangle was not included in the original legal description. Why? No one knows why.
Well, I know
But the
somebody
county-
that we can ask.
The county did transfer it to him in error.
Can tell you why.
So, so we don't know. I mean, this little triangle area was the piece of property that was transferred to him, not
But
the
in
slice.
reality, it should be the red
Yes.
portion, which is the actual road.
Not the slice here that should have been. So,
Belongs to this. That piece comes down in there.
BLM? Is that what it is?
Bureau of Reclamation land.
it was transferred to the county from, I believe, the canal or something. And also, it was actually transferred to the county 2 different times.
For Road 23.
So-
I know there was discussion about that little piece right there, actually, and that's why I left out of that thing, because of the Bureau of Reclamation. 'Cause
Well, that's
it
the
come
only
down-
piece that
come
got
down alongside the
transferred
road,
to the
made that little teeny
gentleman.
triangle in that thing.
Yeah.
That's why that notch is in that map.
Oh, that's
I
great.
remember-
Give Bureau Rex
Yeah,
land away
discussion
with that.
Well,
Okay, so
That's
I
what-
guess,
that's what got transferred to Mr. Dunn, is the little tiny triangle piece.
Yes.
and not the,
And not
Not the road.
not the
purple.
road portion here.
Yeah.
That should have been.
or I'm sorry, red portion.
Yeah, the red portion did not get transferred to him.
So what your ask is that we get the red portion transferred back to the Dunn Living Trust?
Or
That's the
just-
question?
Well, we need to decide what we're gonna do with the triangle.
Yeah, so I think
Who owns the triangle?
The Dunn,
the
Oh,
Dunn
Mr.
Trust
Dunn does
does.
now.
As long as it doesn't belong to Bureau Rec.
No, the Bureau of Rec transferred it to the county.
Okay.
And we transferred it to the Living Trust. So we just need to include that with the red portion.
No.
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 The triangle's
Yeah.
transferred already.
Correct.
But
We made whoever was a genius, because then they got a heck of a deal here for the county.
okay.
So, yeah, I think what Leslie brought to my attention was, we just want to get the paperwork right so that whatever, because right now what the board said should happen has not happened. And so we want to get everything straightened out essentially and complete the transfer of what's here, the red section.
Yep.
But we also just wanted to bring to the board's attention that this green triangle had been transferred, which was not the intent of the board. And at this point, I think we both feel like we ought to just leave it that way, because otherwise,
there's-
as you see on
Yeah.
on that little cutout, it's a strange property line,
They
basically.
get the little triangle that they already have along with the road.
Yes.
Got it. Okay,
But in order for that to happen,
we've got to create another resolution.
and we would have to have a full survey done to describe his whole property again. Because the survey maps, everything that we've had done, do not describe his property.
So that would be the next step.
None of this has, none of this has been done correctly.
Okay.
I mean, the county commissioners screwed up back then?
Sure did.
Can't imagine.
No, it was the surveyor.
Now you got to fix it.
It was actually the person who created the deed.
Well, commissioners don't write the deed. I mean, it's,
You're
So
off the hook.
I don't know who, I don't know who did that.
Okay, well, we correct it. The decision was made to,
I mean, if you all are okay
Give
leaving
the-
him with the little triangle, we would
Yeah.
just need a new survey to include the triangle and his legal description.
yeah.
And a
I
new
mean,
deed and a new resolution, including the whole legal description to clean all of this up. And then he's got complete legal description and clean title of the transfer.
I mean, that makes the most logical
Or you can take the
sense.
tiny triangle away from him if you
No.
want.
no,
Why would we do that? A point nothing of nothing?
Point nothing seven.
Yeah, no. Okay, are you good with that?
Yeah, so we'll continue to work on that. And we'll, like Leslie said, we'll need to get that new survey done. And so it'll probably be a while before we're able to complete this, I would think.
Yeah, and I think we'll get with Rita, since she's the county surveyor,
Okay.
and have her do this one.
Clean it up?
Yep.
Okay,
Gerald did the original, so we'll just have Rita do this one, clean it up.
okay. You good?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just glad the road's over there where it is.
But the road ended up where it was supposed to be, right?
Yeah. Because when you come off of that hill, come across that dam and that old road was right there. You're right on top of
Yep.
people.
Yeah,
And they're coming across that 65 miles an hour and somebody comes across there with a horse trailer or anything and they were right in the middle of the road. It was ugly.
Now it's straight.
Now it's fixed. So,
Well, that's good.
Okay. Good enough. Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Anything else while you're in here? No?
Nothing. Did Travis tell you about my exciting news?
No, I guess not.
About the people impersonating that they work for the commission, or the assessor's office on the
yeah, I
weekends?
seen that
Oh,
on
we did hear
Facebook, yeah.
that. We did hear about that.
That's all my exciting news.
So let's elaborate a little bit out on that for the public. If the assessor is out and about doing any types of assessment, they will be marked. They will be in a vehicle that is marked Montezuma County.
Correct.
And they're
we will
typically white?
knock on the door and we will introduce ourselves
And you will have identification.
and we will have identification and we will not be there to collect taxes
Okay.
Or cover up your license plates.
or covering up our license plates.
Oh, that was happening too. huh?
Yes, yes.
Now, our
Where
license
we do not
plates
drive
are
brown Suburbans either.
visible. They're black and white vehicles,
Correct.
black and or white.
Black and or white.
Okay. Just so that the general public knows that, they are clearly marked and they will have a Montezuma County emblem on them. And the person will be identifiable
And never there to collect taxes.
and never there to
Ever.
collect taxes.
Nope.
Okay, just to assess property, not to collect. That's Ellen's job.
And she doesn't go out to
And
collect.
she doesn't go out either, yeah.
No
Okay,
one goes out to collect your
That's a
taxes.
very, very dangerous game to play.
That is a very dangerous game to go out and collect taxes.
Yes.
So, other
All
than
right.
that, everything's just
reevaluating,
reevaluation.
reassessing,
Yep.
okay.
all I got.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you.
Do you want to get a hold of Rita, or do you want me to?
If you would, that would be helpful
Okay,
to me.
yeah, we can.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
I see.
Yeah, at some point I probably need to, yeah.
So those two properties, Lot 1 and Lot 2, were created by exemption in 2012. And so there's surveys and there's plats. And the road realignment is indicated here. I don't know what the legal way to transfer that is, but because it was created by an exemption, we could do an exemption amendment to capture that other piece of property if that's a neater, cleaner path and easier to follow in the future.
I think I had discussed with Leslie so far was we were just gonna map as tightly as we could to what the intent of the board was originally. It seems like it just got messed up in the actual execution of like the deeds, as I understood it.
Well, the original resolution legal description describes the property minus the triangle.
Right.
So we would have to, the new resolution, and it can be an amended resolution, to describe the whole new legal description to include the triangle. And then we would just have to have an amended, Rita can even amend the original map, survey map. It's just gonna have to be amended to include a new legal description also. We just want them to have an entire legal description for their property of what they're receiving and deed work to follow. So in case anything, we don't want us to be their problem if they were to go to sell. We want them to have a complete and full legal description. But all of it can be done with amendments.
Yep.
And then as far as the deed, because the triangle portion has already been transferred, we will probably, we'll probably need to do once the legal description is completed as a whole, we'll need to transfer that whole legal description again, so it becomes one whole parcel.
Drops like that.
Okay.
23 come in right there. And we just moved it down.
Because we'll have Rita
down to here and
describe a
stuff
whole
like that.
new,
'Cause here's
it'll
the
be a
dam, the
whole
end of
new
the dam's
parcel,
right here.
basically,
But when
to
somebody
include that
went
little
out
triangle.
across the road,
And
they
that's
turned
what we'll need to
that
transfer in
east.
it, is the whole
They're right.
thing.
I mean, people
So it
come
becomes
Okay.
one whole lot one.
I mean, you were right.
It's gonna be a new lot one.
So fast.
Amended lot one.
Yeah.
Because you're up here.
I would say, that's my opinion of it.
Hill and they're turning
But
right
I'm
in
not,
front of you.
Mhm.
not
And if they were pulling a trailer
I'm
or
always
anything like that.
up for other opinions too, so.
Yeah, whichever way you want to do it. I only got involved because the guy called about his property to the north of there this morning, so.
Is he gonna sell to him, do you think?
No, he wants to do a boundary line adjustment with Lot 3 of the exemption with part of his 66-acre parcel.
Because he is wanting, that's what he's wanting to do.
Is he going to sell it all?
I think he's wanting to do something.
Yeah, so, for the county's part, we just need to get this fixed,
Cleaned up.
essentially, is where we're at.
Okay.
So
We'll
do
be
you
working
want
on
this
that.
file to go through, or do you not care? You have the order and that's all you care about?
I'm not gonna have time to look at it in the next, week, but if you wanna give it to me, I can
Oh,
put it on my desk.
I'll keep it till you
Okay.
want it. Fair enough.
Yeah, I may need to look at it in the future, but probably not immediately till that survey is done.
Meeting's almost over, you can look at it now. You got nothing else going on, right?
I think he's got a lot going on. I think he's
Okay.
gonna get more going on in the future.
Yeah, we got lots going on. That's all I got.
Okay. All right, thank you all. Do you guys have anything else?
No.
Okay. Well, then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.